Yo viewers, here is a Vtech cordless telephone. This is the Vtech model CS6519-2. So this would have originally shipped with the two handsets, but only one of them is currently with us. Use only supplied adapter. And it takes in the AC, the 6 volts. So here we go again with that AC nonsense. AC to AC adapter. The little tab there is also missing, and maybe it's with the other handset. I checked out a model very similar to this recently, and it was pretty decent. I suspect this one will be as well. I don't have too much experience with newer phones. This is definitely one that's kind of newer than what I'm really interested in. But from what I have experienced, Vtech seems to be pretty consistent. Their stuff usually doesn't stink. Unlike, Panasonic, for example, which is now a total hit or miss depending on the model. So this is wanting us to set the date. I don't know what the date is, so we'll just say that it's 4/20 of next year. I don't know, maybe it's 4:20 in the afternoon. Battery is low, I just put it in, so I guess that's why it's saying that. I find the contrast on this to be a little bit poor. It looks poor on video and it looks poor in person. It's not unreadable, but it's certainly not particularly clear either. It looks like this has an alphanumeric display. The second line is digits only, and then the top line is dot matrix. Let's see if we have any directory entries. There's one entry in there. It's from Nebraska. Let's delete that out of there. Okay, let's see if we have any caller IDs. There's 50 in the caller ID. Well, it's got quite a few calls per day. Looks like about 5 or 6 per day. Alright, let's I think we can delete all of them. It's very slow. It took a long time to delete it. Probably was a couple, maybe probably not even a single kilobyte. Low battery. Okay, let's see what kind of rings we got on this thing. Oh, the ringer has been changed. There are bad rings on there. Volume is okay, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Doesn't have too many settings. Alright, let's call this telephone. Oh, this isn't even zoomed in right. Alright, let's call this telephone. Doesn't have auto talk. I don't think any of these Vtech phones do. Doesn't have answering machine, so it's just going to ring infinitely. Okay, so that works. The caller ID came in. The the label, the labeling is starting to come off on there. It's kind of dumb. They got these buttons right, but they didn't do it right up on the top, which is, I mean, that's the button you're going to use every single time you use the phone. So that really should have been designed like the numbers were. Well, anyways, let's go to the outside line and let's make a testing call and see how good the sound quality is. We'll call the line testing lukewarm line.
Fishing in a mountain stream is my idea of a good time.
After the dance, they went straight home. The hostess taught the new maid to serve.
Adding fast leads to wrong sums. The show was a flop from the very start.
There was water in the cellar after the heavy rain. They're not listed in the new phone book.
A large size in stockings is hard to sell. The juice of lemons makes fine punch.
Smoke poured out of every crack.
It's okay, but I think the gate is kind of high. It seems to cut off the very beginning and very end of some words. And sometimes those sounds are important to understand the clarity of the word.
The crooked maze failed to fool the mouse.
He wrote the last novel there at the inn. The will beat his low score.
Saw is a tool used for making boards. The wagon moved on well-oiled wheels.
It's got decent volume and it stays clear all the way.
The box was thrown beside the parked trucks. The hogs were fed chopped corn and garbage.
Much of the story makes good sense. The sun came up to light the eastern sky.
The two met while playing on the sand. The ink stain dried on the finished page.
Now this sounds really good.
The show was a flop from the very start.
The cement had dried when he moved it. The loss of the second ship was hard to take.
March the soldiers past the next hill. A cup of sugar makes sweet fudge.
He broke his ties with groups of former friends.
They floated on the raft to sun their white nap.
These days, a chicken leg is a rare dish. Rice is often served in round bowls.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Even at full volume, no distortion or anything. And it was pretty loud. The buttons have a decent feel to them. Not bad. The labeling on the buttons is nice and clear and big numbers. Good font. Not bad. Alright, now we'll record some testing messages. That's pretty loud. Alright, I'll record some testing messages now.
2 old messages. Message 1.
Okay, well, this is the first official testing message being recorded from the Vtech CS6519, cordless to telephone. Seems like it's not a bad telephone. I don't know how much this would have cost or if it's still under manufacturer, but I suspect it was a cheaper model. And for a cheaper model, it's not bad. It's a basic feature set, but it's more than enough for what most people looking for a phone like this would end up using. Okay, I'm all the way across the room right now. If it just clipped out, it's because it was beeping on low battery, not because it wasn't getting a good signal. I am going to return to the studio now, and I'm going to hang up using the talker, the end button rather, which eventually is going to wear off because the font or the type or whatever it's called is not very good on there. We'll still on what they call phone mode. I'm going to put it to speakerphone. Okay, now it's on the speakerphone, and I'm speaking at about the same volume and distance as I was before. So this should give a good comparison to the quality change and the volume modulation change between the pickup on phone and speakerphone. And it just beeped on low battery. If it cut out there, that's what that was. So now I am going to put the phone down on the table. And it just fell over. Stay up. For heaven's sake. Okay, now it's standing upright, and I think it's still taping. So I'm speaking at about 1 foot directly over the telephone with it sitting on the table. I'm going to start moving back now. Okay, this is about 2 feet away from the phone, clipping out from the battery. This is 3 feet, and this is about 4 feet away from the telephone. And I would expect it to still be working at this distance. Okay, continuing on 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet, and this is 11 feet, which is all the way across the room. And if it's still picking up here, which it must be because I think it's still taping, that's pretty decent performance. There's not too many speakerphones that work that well from that distance. Okay, well that's it for this one. Over and out.
End of messages.
Wow, I was really impressed with that speakerphone pickup. Even all the way across the room, the modulation wasn't super loud, but it was clear and audible, and that's a lot better than a lot of phones can do. Well, here we go again. Another pretty economical product from Vtech that doesn't stink at all.